Hey guys, and welcome to the Igloo, and today we're going to be talking about Inside the Vault for Fallout 76. So we're going to get right into it. So they've been receiving a lot of feedback for Scorchbeast and the Scorchbeast Queen, and a couple of changes for patch 6 and the months that we'd like to preview for the week. So here is what we're going to be talking about, and as well as my personal thoughts when it comes to a lot of these changes that have been happening, especially for what I've been knowing about. So for what they've actually been saying is that they're going to be fixing all the screams, like, every single time, because it's not supposed to, like, just be constantly flaring. So they're actually going to be fixing just the constant ear rape of the Scorchbeast themselves, which, again, it was annoying. You can't really shoot through being blinded by light, and there was actually Nexus mods that kind of dulled down the brightness down a little bit, which is really good, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't be relying on a mod in order to do your job, Bethesda, when it comes to most of this stuff. So, we're going to be going to the Scorchbeast Queen loot. So, I've predicted and I've confirmed that the loot that you get from the Queen is not as good, or it is the same as any other 3-star legendary that you've been getting. And this is what has been entailed, which it's still true in patch 5. So in patch 6, they're saying that they're fixing Scorchbeast from giving you the same Ultra Sight Knuckles over and over and over again. So because they are fixing that, they're going to give you a wide variety more of plans, as well as more legendary weapons that are in the fixture. So the same loot table is on the Queen as all the other 3-star legendaries, and they're finally admitting to it that they had the same loot table for the Scorchbeast Queen as well as all of the other 3-star legendaries that are out in the world. So they're actually going to be addressing this issue, and they're going to give her more legendary in feature in patch 6, or trying to get in patch 6. While we're still working on implementing that system, we will let you know as soon as we have more details to share. So that means they're working on a loot table right now for the Scorchbeast Queen, even though we all knew, or a good amount of people knew, that the Scorchbeast Queen's loot was equal to the same amount of having a 3-star regular legendary. That was from patch 1 to patch 5. So again, this is only just iterates that they didn't really do much work when it comes to the Scorchbeast Queens, and they just copy and pasted like the 3-star legendary effects, and then just added notes on top of that for Ultra Sight. Before, like in patch 5, where you can have the full Ultra Sight plans learned inside the Brotherhood of Steel mission on a computer. So let's go into the creature feedback. Now they want you to actually ask you guys to see which is too powerful now. And there are a few creatures that are for that, especially for the casual audience. Yes, I'm not going to be telling everybody to min-max and do the most amount of damage, because not everybody's going to play like me. Okay, I completely understand that not everybody's going to play min-max for the maximum amount of damage at every single possible rate. Or you're going to have a meta character that has 15 charisma that can share Adrenaline 5. You're not going to have those types of characters because it's very specialty niche based when it comes to it. So we're going to go into, like, offline maintenance. So head into Fallout 76 forums to share answers. Note, the forums are currently in offline maintenance, but we'll let you know as soon as they're back up. This is why a lot of people just do Reddit anyway. And pretty much then it says R&R this week, so rest and relaxation. So you get more XP if you sleep more. So if you go to sleep, there's actually a mechanic until, Monday, February 11th or whatever, where you can have the buff last 50% longer. So again, the XP buff just super passively. So instead of an hour, you have an hour and a half with the relaxation buff. So you can farm a little bit more for that XP that they nerfed. And again, they've been doing some of these changes. Some are for the better, some are for worse. But I don't know what I can see. If they nerf even more things on top of buffing other things, it's going to be crazy. Honestly, I'm going to be completely real with everybody here. They need to buff every energy weapon because they're really dumb. There's only one good one, which is pretty much like a 2-shot plasma with 50% crit damage, because you can put the fire splitter or whatever mod onto it, and it portrays as a caustic effect as well as like the energy effect. So you can have a additional effect, but the durability still breaks way too fast, especially for that kind of weapon type. Even with that ammo being fairly expensive to find in the world, this is one of the things that you would actually need to be doing. As for the Scorchbeast Queen, please, we need to have better ways to get legendaries than to just rely on farming endlessly and mindlessly when it comes to White Springs, Harper's Ferry, Manoa Town, or just in different areas that are going to be very helpful for you to get 3-star legendaries. It shouldn't be a arduous chore where you have to state on a prefix-affix page to what could be the possibility of being a good roll, and then you might need to see if your character's seeded or not. It's unbelievable. There should be a good chance, if you do a endgame boss like the Scorchbeast Queen, to have the higher tier echelon no matter what. Not based on your charisma, not based on anything else, but it should just be completely RNG and not just like this seeded RNG that's based on charisma and that kind of stuff, which it shouldn't be at all. It should be like, all right, you want to get better legendary loot? It's going to be on the Queen. So it's going to be affected on patch 6 on how they have everything balanced, because I don't expect that they're going to be like, you know what, we're only going to give combat and marine pieces on the Queen itself, and they're both going to be like the best ones, like Vanguard, bolstering, unyielding pieces, and then they have 2 different affixes, which is Strength and then Sentinel, or Strength and then Cavalier, and you're going to have the best loot there is when it comes to that, diluting the market when it comes to different ways. There should be an extreme amount of rarity for like high tier god roll items, just like Assassin's Sentinel +1 Strength, Assassin's Sentinel +1 AP regen, stuff like that, because it's really strong, especially when you have a complete set. As for like weapons and stuff, it should be able to have like very good weapons, like bloodied weapons that are also explosive or 50% VATS, because that would also be a very easy point. Like the current state of the market, most of the time, a lot of stuff has been deflated to the point that it can be awarded by caps. So you can actually trade right now at this point for like anywhere from 15 to 20,000 at the high, and then at the low you have 5 to 10,000 if you're going to be dealing with a 2-shot explosive, because these have been massively duped. So honestly, this is just my market report on top of the actual Bethesda report. I can't confirm for the Xbox and PS4 markets, but I do know for the PC market very well, especially because when more and more things get duped, that means the price goes lower and lower, and it's just supply and demand at that point. What you need versus what you want. Do you want to have a Holy Grail weapon? Do you want to hold on to that piece, or you see that the market has been so diluted that you're going to be asking for somebody that is going to be desperate? And that's just a sales pitch when it comes to MMO games or anything else like that, when it comes to high tier loot. So my final thoughts that are going to benefit this kind of stuff is that I would think, because of last patch as well as this current patch 6 that's coming up, the Hunter's weapons are actually going to become very viable, because Scorchbeasts are actually affected and are treated as such as animals. I do not know about the Scorchbeast Queen, but if the Scorchbeast Queen is affected by the same attributes as the Scorchbeasts themselves, I would highly recommend to get a Hunter's weapon itself and then put it on top of it and just see the difference between it. I personally don't have any Hunters, so this is why I say go for it. Take the option to get it if you have it. Besides the inside of the vault stuff, this is pretty much like going to be like my market trends and see what you guys can actually get when it comes to Market 76. Again, if you really want to pick up like a good legendary weapon that has 2 good rolls on it, it's probably worth caps at this point. But a good 3 one, like the Quad Explosive Harpoon, it's still going to be worth like 3 to 4 to maybe 5 legendaries, depending on what you're going to be getting out of it. and how are you going to be selling it versus buying it. Again, this is why I like holding on to some of these things, because they do have some value to it when it comes to all the rolls, especially because it's a heavy weapon. If you guys like this kind of stuff, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment down below. I said that my next video is going to be on a trap base, and I promised that, but the news came out first, so I gotta do the news, but I have to work on the video for the trap base as well as for stacking foundations as well. Again, I can only do like a video to 2 videos a day, so if you really like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe. If you really like it, leave a Patreon help out down below, because every little bit helps, especially when it comes to keeping my stuff in production. Have a good one, guys.